All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get started. You can see I'm just on my Windows desktop here. Got my 2 thumb drives ready. Let's go ahead and shut down and begin the process. Hopefully everything goes relatively smooth. So Alt F4, we're gonna shut down. I'm going to grab my Windows thumb drive here, a little cruiser blade. Stick that into my USB port here. Oh, always get it wrong the first time. And then let's go ahead and boot up. And then we're gonna mash the delete key, I think. Maybe the F2 key. I'm gonna mash delete. Mash delete. Mash delete. Mash delete. Mash delete. Let's go, let's go. Let's mash delete. There we go. That's what I want. All right, lovely. Boot. We want the SanDisk. Lovely, lovely. Sorry again for the poor quality. I'm just gonna kind of hold my camera up as we go through this. I may tilt it down as I need to type on the keyboard or whatever. I might have to put it down. So I know it's gonna be a little sloppy, but again, I mostly just want to document how this goes as someone who enjoys tinkering with tech, but to be honest, I'm not that technical. I did do a little bit of computer programming in college, but honestly, I haven't done computer programming in a very long time. I do like to tinker. I do like to configure things. It's a lot of fun, but yeah. So here, we're in Windows. I'm just gonna hit next. I'm gonna go ahead and install now, even though I'm not really installing. I'm gonna hit install now. And then like I said in the first video, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and click I don't have a product key. I'm going to basically just erase both my drives, right? We're gonna wipe the slate clean. Let's go ahead and agree to Microsoft stuff, custom. And you can see here's all of the drives as they currently stand, right? I've got my SSD SATA drive right here, which has 4 terabytes of storage, and my NVMe drive right here, which has 2 terabytes of storage. You can see they've got stuff on it. I'm just gonna delete all the partitions. Nice and empty. So let's go ahead and delete that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. So now we're left with 2 unallocated spaces, completely empty drives. Completely empty drives. My 4 terabytes SSD is right here. My 2 terabyte NVMe SSD where I'm going to install Linux Mint is right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and force shutdown. I'm not gonna hit next. I'm not going to install Windows. I'm gonna go ahead and force shutdown. So let's go ahead and force shutdown. There we go. Remove my Windows USB stick. Grab my Linux Mint one. Whoop! This cruiser drive here. Stick that guy in there. Hit go. And mash delete once more. Now at this point, there's no turning back. I've already formatted the drives. I've already deleted everything off the drives. Deleted the partitions, which deleted everything off the drives. Both drives are gonna start fresh. I'm gonna let Linux Mint take it from here. Now I'm just gonna try to let Linux Mint auto grab what it needs to grab, auto install where it needs to install. And then hopefully it will mount. Hopefully it will mount the 4 terabyte drive as storage. Here we go. So I can start Linux Mint, compatibility mode, OEM install, boot for next. UEFI firmware settings. Let's just start. So this is gonna take us to the live. So let's give it a minute here because it's got to boot from the stick. But it is all good. There's a Linux Mint logo. That's a good start. Wow, it's all washed out. Come on, iPhone camera, you can do it. There we go. I swear it looks a lot nicer than on the iPhone camera. The iPhone camera's got it all washed out. whatever, all good. All good. Now, once this boots in, a lot of people recommend that you do some basic testing to make sure that things like your Wi-Fi works, things like that. I am going to do a little bit of that, but I'm going to spend very little time in here. I just want to jump right in, install on bare metal. I'm pretty sure that all the components in my desktop are compatible, because they are all just off-the-shelf parts, which Linux works nicely on. Nothing is extraordinarily new. It's all, I mean, it's all 12th gen Intel timeline stuff, except for my video card, which is a bit older actually. It's a 2080 Ti is my video card. But everything else I got at the same time, and at that time, Intel 12th gen was the latest. So I'm running a 12900K with some DDR5 RAM in there, with some Samsung SSDs. I think the SATA SSD is an 8070 Pro, Samsung 8070 Pro. Not 8070, 870 Pro. And I think the NVMe drive is a Samsung 980 Pro. Something like that. So all off the shelf parts. The motherboard is an Asus, I forget the exact model. But it's all off the shelf. There's nothing crazy in there. I know Linux sometimes has a hard time with NVIDIA drivers, but it's an old enough NVIDIA card to where I'm pretty sure that's not going to really be an issue either. Okay, we're getting something, and that went away. What do we get? Took a little while to boot everything off the USB stick. Had a black screen going there for a while. All good. Let's see what happens. My other monitor is showing display port 1, and there we go. All right. It does say Wi-Fi networks are available. And this is Cinnamon. Again, I'm not going to do a lot of playing around here. You can see everything looks like it's rendering okay. I'll go through a lot more thorough setup later, but you can see it's got a pretty Windows-esque layout here. Let me see if I can back up a little bit. You've got basically what looks like a start menu with lots of stuff in there. The mouse is a little bit faster than I'd like, but I can tweak that later. Everything looks okay. If I go to, let's see, no connection, maybe I go over here, wireless connection. It does see my Wi-Fi network here, which is great, so I'm gonna go with that. If it can see it, that means it can attach to it, so we're good. I could probably plug in a cable. I've got a jack there and I can run it down there. I can probably run an Ethernet cable, but I'll just run it off Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is fast enough, it should be fine. Cool. So now we're gonna go up here and go to Install Linux Mint. Double click that guy. See a little loading icon there. We'll get the installation started. Okay, so now we've got the installation window here. I'm going to go ahead and select English and hit continue. I'm going to use the English keyboard layout. I can test the keyboard. Everything seems fine to me. So continue. I'm going to connect to my home network here. I'm gonna have to put my phone down, so give me a minute. Connect. Put in my password. Connect. Okay, it did successfully connect. See the connection enabled. It successfully found my printer too, which is lovely. So everything's good. Continue. Uses Intel Wi-Fi. That's cool to know. I didn't know that. But we're all good. Continue, continue. I do want to install multimedia codecs. Basically, it allows use of proprietary multimedia codecs instead of just the open source ones. That's going to be important for things like video rendering, right? It's going to be important for being able to play back video, stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and install the multimedia codecs. Hit continue. Okay, let's see. This computer has no detect operating systems. I can erase disk and install Linux Mint. I don't know what disk it wants to use. So advanced features, none, maybe something else. Hit continue. Device for bootloader. It does look like it's going to choose the 980 Pro, which is what I want. Device for bootloader installation would be the NVMe. NVMe one, free space. I can't read any of that, so I'm just going to leave that alone. Let's go back. Erase disk and install Linux Mint. I'm just gonna hope it chooses the 980 Pro. It doesn't say, and it doesn't give me the option to choose which disk. Maybe I should have unplugged the SATA SSD and then done it, and then plugged in the SATA SSD later. But if I need to reinstall Linux Mint after this installs because it just chose the wrong one, I can do some Googling and figure out how to exactly partition things myself. But for now, I'm gonna let Linux Mint do its thing. Erase disk and install Linux Mint. Use LVM. I don't think I need to worry about any of that. I don't want to encrypt, it's fine. Yeah, no advanced features is fine. Continue. Oh, now it lets me select the drive. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, yes, I want this one. The entire disk will be used for Linux Mint. Yes, please install. Let's go. Let's go, let's go. If you continue, changes below will be written to disk. Otherwise, you'll be able to make further changes manually. The partition tables of the following devices are changed on the NVMe, dev, NVMe. Following partitions are going to be formatted. Partition 1 as ESP. Partition 2 as ext4. Perfect. That sounds good to me. Let's continue. All right. Should I put my exact location? Or does it only really care about time zone? Hold on, I'm gonna put my phone down and type in like location. There we go. I'm not gonna tell you guys exactly where I'm located, even though most of my subscribers do know. I'm gonna go ahead and put my location in there and hit continue. Okay, so now it's prompting me for a name. I'm going to assume that when I put my name in there, it's going to automatically choose a computer name. Why is it blurry? Don't be blurry. Come on, refocus. Thank you, iPhone. It's going to put in a computer name. I'll pick a username and put in a password, and then I can have it log in automatically or require my password to log in. And I might want to encrypt my home folder. Do I want to encrypt my home folder? That's probably fine, right? I mean, I'm not too worried about people getting a hold of my desktop computer. It is just gonna sit here at home. I don't move it. Oh, whatever, I'll encrypt it. All right, so I don't have anywhere to set my phone while you guys watch me fill this in, but just be aware, all right? I'm gonna put my name in, set my computer name, pick a username, choose a password, and confirm my password. So let's do that. I'm just gonna put my first name and then my computer's name. I'm just gonna call this that, pick a username. I'm going to call this that. Pick a password. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and set to log in automatically, and I'm going to go ahead and, in order to encrypt my home folder, I do have to require a password to log in, which makes sense because it uses your password as the decryption key. So that makes sense, actually. So I'm gonna have to actually type in my password to log in, which is fine. Unless I decide not to encrypt my home folder, then I can log in automatically, which I think I would prefer. because again, this is just my home desktop. I use it. Sometimes my wife uses it, but even then, not very often. And I don't care if she has access. It's fine. Whatever. I'm not going to encrypt it. Okay. Let's hit continue. And welcome to Linux Mint. It's going to share a few slides while it does its thing. I can expand this out and you can kind of see the console or bash, or I don't actually know what it's called. You can tell I'm very much a noob at this thing. You can see what's going on down there in detail if you want to. I can't really make too much sense of it, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. But yeah, welcome and thank you for choosing Linux Mint. This slideshow will show you around while we'll show you around while the system is being installed on your computer. Next. Be fast and safe on the web with Mozilla Firefox. Watch your favorite shows on Netflix and YouTube. Cool. Enjoy your music, listen to podcasts and online radios with Spotify, Rhythmbox. I know there's tons of other softwares out there, but you know, whatever. Watch movies and videos. Enjoy high-definition movie or video with VLC and the media player Celluloid. All modern codecs are supported. Celluloid, MPV, VLC. Organize, enjoy, and share your photos. Export your albums to share them with friends and family with Pix, Drawing, GIMP, and Inkscape. I do not know how to Photoshop, GIMP, whatever, so that's something I'm probably going to want to learn at some point. How to actually edit photos, because I don't know how to edit my own photos, and I barely know how to edit video. There's a lot I still need to learn from the editing perspective. All right, stay connected. Keep in touch with your friends and contacts by email, IRC, or on your favorite social networks. Linux Mint provides all you need to interact with Skype, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Slack, Telegram, Viber, Discord, and many other networks. Cool. Be productive. Use LibreOffice to create professional documents, spreadsheets, and presentations that are fully compatible with Microsoft Office, share printers, or access them remotely. So LibreOffice is the Microsoft Office replacement. I've also heard of OnlyOffice. LibreOffice, if I, understand correctly just based off of screenshots and things that I've seen, LibreOffice looks a little old. OnlyOffice looks a lot more modern, so maybe I'll use OnlyOffice instead of LibreOffice. We'll see. I'll try LibreOffice out first since Mint puts it on by default, but I can install OnlyOffice later. If I don't like LibreOffice, it's fine. And there may be other alternatives as well. I'm going to try not to just install the PWA versions of Microsoft Office, but we'll see. All right. Browse through 30,000 free applications from the software manager, enjoy screenshots and user reviews, install software with one click like Steam, Minecraft, Dropbox, and Blender. Never used Blender before. I hear about the software a lot. I don't really know too much what it does. I'm probably gonna have to install it and check it out at some point. I'm probably gonna be using the software manager a lot at the start. I'll slowly work my way into more terminal stuff. But I'm probably gonna use their software manager a lot to start, just to make sure things are more up to date too when I do select a software. I think there's a drop-down menu where you can select to either get it from Mint repository, which might be a little bit older, or from FlatHub. So I'm going to install the FlatHub or Flatpak version of the software just to get the later version. That's fine. That will be especially important for things like Steam, where you want the latest like Proton experimental stuff. Okay, run Windows software. You can install Wine and run Windows software in Linux Mint, or install VirtualBox and run Windows itself within Linux Mint. I'm going to avoid running Windows in a VM because I feel like that's cheating. I'm going to try to just get away from Windows. Find replacements for softwares that are Windows specific, which for the most part, the only Windows specific stuff I'm probably not going to be able to get away from would be things like Steam, but that's not Windows specific anymore. And maybe Battle.net, because I still like to play StarCraft. So yeah. Customize your desktop, make yourself at home, modify any aspect of your desktop, choose from a large variety of themes, icons, backgrounds. Linux Mint's open and easy to customize. Lovely. Keep your system up to date, receive fixes, security updates all in one place for the entire system, including the software you install. If you're curious about something or if you're facing a problem, simply ask around. Linux Mint's one of the most popular desktop Linux distributions used by millions. Comes with a user guide, a community website, a collection of tutorials, active forums, chat rooms, and one of the most dynamic communities on the internet. Cool. and that's the last slide. So yeah, I'm just gonna let this finish going. I've got a little bit of work to do anyway on the side while this goes, so I will be back when this is done.